But there has been times with all of my boys where I've even had them watch the FBI's run, hide, fight video. And that comes after talking to them about, hey, what do they talk about in school and what are you learning and what would you do if you were faced in the
Yeah.
classroom and they say code whatever, three or a drill. And there is truly an active shooter in there. And it just saddened me to hear some of the stories of not only the lack of training or awareness, but also what they would do. And so I've had to gauge that in terms of how much I want to expose my kids, but I have
Sure.
all four of them. The youngest is 15, and I lately have shared that video with them. And then have a conversation of whether we're in church or whether you're in the classroom, the mall, sporting events. It's good to think about it, but then not get preoccupied with being worried about it. But really, do you have a plan? You know, you go to movie theater with your friends, check out the exits and make sure you can figure out the quickest way to leave. What does it mean by run, hide, fight? And so breaking it down for them.
Yeah.
And you know, just lately having that conversation with a couple of my boys because we're big music goers and we love concerts.
You do.
Yep, yep, yep. And that worries me, not to the point where I don't go, but you know, what we've seen in data is these open events, open areas. We're seeing time and time again where the active threat happens and it's hard to hide. The run, hide, fight, where there's little places to hide. And so where do you position yourself in a venue like that and still have a great time and not be over the top worried,
Right.
but just have it in the back of your mind of if there was an active shooter, what would I do and how I would leave. Remember we had the speaker one time, Jim, that talked about crowds and
Mhm.
people suffocating when leaving the crowd. I thought it was more being trampled, but it's actually from the crowd and the pressure and the bottleneck. So we've talked about that, and the kids joke with me about me being a little too worried and but they get it. And things like being in that boxing stance to protect your chest area and having your legs, your stance to where you have the really strong stance. If you fall, to not lay flat, you know, to kind of curl up in a ball and protect your head and try to get up as soon as possible.
Yeah.